Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the Game Slice stream. Game Slice 2021, presented by Drop, the event for game devs to playtest and give feedback on each other's unfinished, unreleased, and early access games. We are here with Project Haven by Code 351, and the person we'll be talking to right now is Sergio Gil. Sergio, how you doing?
I'm great, thank you. And thank you for having me here, and thank you to Drop and Game Slice for organizing the event. It's great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We very much appreciate it. We have been working hard, as I'm sure you have as well. Now, for the folks who don't know about Project Haven, who might be living under a rock, what is your game?
So, Project Haven is a tactical turn-based akin to the genre classics, so Jagged Alliance 2, Silent Storm, 762 Caliber, the original XCOM games. So it's a more complex and more intricate experience than what you currently have with the new games, the new XCOM and the likes. It gives you more control over your characters and your actions. It's an action point based game, so you have very granular control over what your character does instead of just having like two actions or something like that. So that's the general gist of it.
How big is the team working on it?
So we're currently just three. So it's me, Joanna, and Jason, our level designer, and we pretty much have done everything in the game.
Where are you guys based?
So me and Joanna are from Portugal, and Jason is from the United States.
Wow, three people. How long have you guys been working on this?
So me and Joanna started back in 2015. We did the Steam green lights just to check if people would be interested in a game like this, and the reception was really positive. So we proceeded with it. We did part-time for a few years up until say 2018, somewhere around that time. And then we were full-time in the game, and late last year we hired Jason to help us out, flesh out the level design, and so it's been a long time, but it's definitely coming along, and we've announced the release date for 2022, so it's almost there.
Awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say, for three people, wow, this is impressive. And hearing that you guys started in 2015, that makes a lot of sense. You're either gonna have a lot of people or a lot of time. But yeah, it's very impressive what you guys have been able to achieve so far. So back in 2015, where did it start? What did you want to build, and sort of how did you get to where you are now?
Yeah, so we love co-op games, and we've played pretty much a lot of the famous co-op games and the popular co-op games, and we were actually trying to play Jagged Alliance 2, a game from 1999, in co-op. There's a few mods out there that allow you to play in co-op, but they didn't really work all that well. And I love Jagged Alliance 2, and I wanted to share it with Joanna, who hadn't played Jagged Alliance 2 at the time. But it just didn't work. So we were like, hey, let's Unreal Engine 4 just came out. Let's see if we can build something just for fun. And then it kind of started like, oh, maybe this is cool, and we put it on Greenlight, and it went from there. But it really came from the desire to play a tactical turn-based in co-op, which is rare, very rare. You have Divinity these days, which is great. I really love it, and you like Baldur's Gate and all that. But at the time, there was really nothing. So that's where it came from. And what we want to do now is, we also love, besides co-op and tactical games, we love story in games, like a strong story, a character-driven story. And that's also something that we're really focused on in our game. It's have a really strong backstory and character progression and all that. So we married those two together, and that's Project Haven. That's our goal with it.
Where does the name Project Haven come from?
So the game takes place in Haven City. We haven't really explored or made public the actual details of how the city came to be and all that, but yeah, the game takes place in Haven City, and there's a project behind it.
Very fair, very fair. So obviously you've been developing this for a long time. What can you name any lessons that you'd wish you'd learned sooner in the process?
try not to make a game that is as big as Project Haven. I think that that came out to be the biggest lesson. It just took way too long. I mean, we're still super thrilled to be developing it, but we would like to have something just a little bit sooner than we did. It's just ended up because we wanted so many things and we were not willing to compromise, and we also didn't really have the resources to hire a big team. We ended up having to do everything ourselves, but it is what it is, and we're happy we're doing it this way. But I just wish it would have been just a bit smaller. But I think the end result will definitely justify everything that we've had to go through.
Well, I guess then the question would be, for whatever comes next, do you think you want to try something of this size again, or do you want to go bigger, or do you want to go smaller? What do you think?
Probably go bigger, but with a bigger team. Hopefully, this game will do well enough to allow us to do that. I think that is our primary goal, is to have a game that does well, so that we can build out a bigger team. Because we have so many more ideas that we can implement in the game, and we just don't have the resources, and we had to do some cuts, obviously. But hopefully, we can explore all those ideas in the next iteration of Project Haven or whatever may be.
Right. What would you say in that process was either the most rewarding, the most enriching, something you still love to see, like during that long development process?
Yeah, I think I would say definitely the feedback from the community. That's been like our biggest, driving force, and something that really, fills us with will to continue the development. Just the reception has just been amazing, and hearing people give feedback and explore ideas, and a lot of them we've implemented. Like, people come up with ideas, and then we discuss it with the community and all that, and we just implement that stuff. We try it out, we test stuff. So definitely it's been very enriching and very rewarding, having the community behind us.
What would you say was the most either dramatic or biggest change that you made based on feedback?
I think the way cover worked initially in the game was this was really on the first playtest that we had. Like, people were not too happy with how the cover system worked. In terms of mechanics, it was a bit awkward, and we did a pretty big revamp right away on the cover system based on all the feedback. And I'd say that's the thing that shaped the game the most, in terms of usability, not being too clunky to play.
So for developers watching this right now who might be starting their game dev journey, and either maybe they're looking to start a project that's nothing like Project Haven, or maybe they're looking to start something that is the size of Project Haven, what advice, what warnings would you give to them before they jump in headfirst?
Don't do something as big as Project Haven. I mean, so I'm not new in the industry. I've been in the industry for almost 20 years now. No, actually over 20 years now. So we had the experience to create something like Project Haven. But if you're just starting out and this is like your first project ever, definitely start with something smaller. You can make meaningful games and good games, very good games, even if they are smaller in scope. You don't have to make a 300-hour game or something for it to be good. There's small games that are absolutely brilliant, and you just have to look at the indie community these days to see it. So yeah, definitely try something small first, build out your skills, build out a team that you like, people that you like to work with, and go from there. Definitely.
One of the things I personally love about the industry is just how many different people there are coming from all over because of how games are. There's so many different disciplines that have to go into it. You've been in the industry for 20 plus years. How did you start your journey, and what did that look like for you personally?
Yeah, so back in late 1990s, I was doing mods for Unreal and Unreal Tournament, way back when. And at some point, this mod called SWAT, it got pretty big. It got the publisher, and it was actually going to be released as a game. And I was invited to join the team as a programmer. And yeah, so that turned out to be Tactical Ops. It was a CS-like game. And yeah, it started. That was I think the game was released in 2001, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, we started there, and then just continued developing games. I did a bit of movie work in special effects, and now back into the indie scene.
All right. Well, welcome back to the indie scene then, I guess. With
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. Right. With the long development head and tail that you've had for this project, could you remember offhand any weird, wacky, wild, fun bugs that you encountered, like people walking on their heads or things like that?
Yeah, so actually our animations are motion captured, particularly for the cinematics, and there's always funny bugs with cinematics and motion capture, where characters just go all crazy and go into funny poses and have like funny weird faces. I think those are like the funniest bugs for sure. We have like a little compilation of a couple of them, but yeah, I think those are definitely the funniest bugs because it's never fun when you have a bug that you can't track for a week.
Yeah, very
Those are
fair.
never fun.
No, 100%. Um, so, with such a small team, I imagine the sort of design process is pretty concise and straightforward. But have there ever been any like big design disagreements within the project, and how did you handle those?
Um, I don't think so. We from the beginning we had this very particular view,
Hmm.
which was again a game that is like Jag Lions 2 and Sandstorm and all that, and that's a very precise view of what the game is. These types of games. I know, although the setting has nothing to do with any of those games, and the gameplay is also very different, but the fact that it's a very complex game or a game with a lot of mechanics that you can explore. You don't have to explore them all. But since that was our vision initially, we haven't really strayed too much from it, and there hasn't been any like, oh, let's rework this completely to be completely different. I think we were all on the same page
Hmm.
with regards to what we wanted. But again, it's a virtue of being a small team
Hmm.
that you can define those goals at the beginning and just stick to them really.
When the project is all said and done, just as a rough estimate, do you have any clue about how long you'd like a playthrough to go for?
Yeah, so we have an estimate of that, and for tactical games, it's a bit hard because
Yeah.
some players play really slow, others
Hmm.
play really fast. But we expect the average player to take between 40 to 80 hours to finish the game. It's a 45 mission, over 45 missions the game, and if you do all the missions, that's around where it'll land.
For Code 351 in general, and I guess for Project Haven as well, what would you say your long term plans are? Is this a game you want to release and then do bug fixes and have it be sitting as it is? Is it something like, ooh, we have some ideas we want to put into C? We're going to immediately start working on Project Haven 2. Like, what are your long term plans?
Yeah, so actually, as I mentioned, we have so many ideas that we ended up not implementing just because of the lack of resources, or just keep the scope in check. So definitely, we want to expand Project Haven as with DLCs, free DLCs, and paid DLCs, paid DLCs possibly. But there's so many things that we want to do in this universe. We created the whole universe again with the characters and the whole city behind it, that we feel like there's a lot of room for expansion in the story and the continuous growth of the characters in the game. Yeah.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Um, how do I want to ask? Wh- So when I first saw the project myself, I immediately was in because I love, love, love tactile shooters. I love them so much. But being the younger gentleman that I am in gaming, as it were, my frame of reference was for XCOM. And so I was like, oh, it's XCOM. Awesome. I'm super excited for this. And then I saw part of the gameplay, which was, oh, you get to go into the soldier's view and you get to take aim yourself. Which in the current landscape of these kinds of games is relatively unique. Was that a part of your original vision? Was it something that evolved from feedback? Or was it just sort of something you found as you were developing?
Yeah, so that was actually one of the first things we implemented. We were just like, well, this was even before Greenlight. Actually,
Mhm.
in the Greenlight footage, you already have this mechanic.
Mhm.
We were just trying out stuff, just random stuff. And at one point, I was like, let me see what it looks like in third person when I'm shooting. And
Mhm.
it turned out this actually works pretty good.
Mhm.
It's actually, it increases the immersion and your connection with the characters. It may not bring you any. Well, it has a couple of advantages over the percentage
Mhm.
chance to hit. Besides, like not missing those 99% shots that you miss in XCOM. You're like up close and the guy shoots at the floor. That doesn't happen because you have control of the character. So that kind of eliminates that kind of frustration. And it has a few other advantages since we have like a positional damage system or a locational damage system where if you hit the arms, they lose accuracy, or if you hit the legs, they can't move as much. The head has headshot damage or extra damage. So it all ties in together with that system. But it was definitely something that, super early on we figured out, okay, this is something that we can work with, and we think that it brings a new twist to the whole genre. We've actually had recently Phoenix Point, which also has a similar system, although it's not exactly the same as ours. Ours is a bit more free. It's more like a shooter game, really. But yeah, that's how it came out. How it came to be.
One more question before we get close to closing off here. So the characters, the story you said is very important to this game. Are these characters that you are coming in and finding out about? Like, do they exist in the world, or are these characters that get generated with the gameplay, with as things go? Are they pre-generated, written up, or?
Yeah. No, they are definitely handcrafted characters. They have their whole backstory, and you get to know their backstory in the lore of the game, and in the progression of the campaign mode. They are definitely all handcrafted, and they all have their relationships with each other. Some others don't like others, and there's these little intrigues and little storylines going on between them and all that. So it's something we want the players to explore on their own, really.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. We are getting close to our time here. So before we go, though, I would like to ask if people want to find Project Haven or Code 351 on social medias, where can they look?
Yeah, so we have on Twitter at code 351 the numbers, or join our Discord as well. You can find the link over on our Steam page or on our Twitter, and that's really the places where we are the most active on. If you want to discuss the game or anything, we're always on Discord. We're always happy to chat with people and talk about the game, because that's really where a lot of our ideas came from, and we're super thrilled with the community that we already have, and we hope that you guys enjoy it and join us.
Right, awesome. Well, thank you very much. If you are watching this right now, we have those social medias up on our Twitter, our GameSlice Twitter, so go check those out when you get a chance. And if you want to try and playtest Code 351 through GameSlice, the playtesting application should still be up, so you still might have a chance. But for that, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you so much, Sergio, for joining us for this developer interview for GameSlice. Thank you. It has been a lovely chat, and stay healthy, stay safe, and I look forward to playing this game myself.